Hello and welcome to Biofit with us, episode nobody actually knows. Full team and a special guest on today. Quick roundtable. How are we, guys?
Ladies first, Shannon.
You can't assume my gender. I'm all right. I just rolled out of bed.
I can assume it, and I did assume.
Yeah.
Was I wrong?
You were not wrong, but still.
There we go. Yeah, it was an educated assumption. Yeah, I'm good. I am feeling fresh as fuck. I had a haircut and a beard trim this morning. I feel like a new man. It's all about the aerodynamics for the race on Sunday. So, Kyle, what's happening?
Good, mate. I was going to say on the team meeting yesterday, you looked a wee bit like Osama bin Laden after he hadn't been seen for 4 months and been hiding in a cave. So you look a lot better today, mate. It's good to see you and hear you. Special guest on today. We'll introduce you. Niall has lost the equivalent of 2 medium-sized dogs in weight. Also the equivalent of like a microwave and your standard bike. But I was going to say, there's lots of things that we're going to speak to Niall about today. But firstly, before we get into them, Niall, how are we today?
Yeah, feeling good. Never had an introduction like that before. Yeah, obviously never done anything like this before, so it's a bit of a change for me, but feeling good.
Good. I was going to say, if people want any reason as to why we're having this conversation with Niall, get your top off. Go on, get your top off and we can have a look.
Not a chance. Not a chance. Too many people have seen me with a top off lately.
How's the tan?
It's fading, thankfully. Yeah. I got away lightly enough. Not too many people noticed, actually, strangely.
Good.
I thought you looked mahogany.
Did you make the same mistake I made, Niall, and put deodorant on the day of the tan?
No, I didn't. I was well warned about all that.
Yeah,
but I did go for a full body wax a couple of days previous. Made the mistake of drinking coffee apparently before that. Thanks for the information on that.
What happens with that?
I'm not really sure, but one looked at me when I walked in the door and says, "Oh, that's a bad idea. That's going to make it worse." So it's like, oh, brilliant.
I'm not entirely sure why that is. It's the first I've ever heard of it.
I can't even give you clarification. I don't know either. I've only ever gotten a wax once, and it was the worst experience of my life, so I don't know.
No, I'm not having that, Shannon. You just make it out to be worse than it is. Absolutely no way.
Niall, the grim reality of when I went for a wax was the next thing you know, she was like, get on all fours, and I said, what? So there you have it. That was not good.
Yeah, wouldn't fancy that bit then.
No.
That sounds like a sack back and crack right there.
Yeah.
The woman's version, I would imagine so. And little 18-year-old Shannon was like a deer in headlights, like, what?
I didn't fancy letting her look to see what I had for dinner the evening before.
For context, for anybody wondering why Niall's got waxed and tanned, is he has just done his first photo shoot there at the weekend. It's not his normal weekend prep, well, not that we know about, but
not for the last few years anyway.
No. To be fair as well, he absolutely bossed that first photo shoot as well. If anybody is wanting to see Niall's results, please go onto the show notes, go onto Kyle's Instagram page, and you will see it front and centre.
Do you know, we've actually, like, as much as we've got some good stuff from it so far, we've actually still not got the proper shots back from the photo shoot. So the stuff you're seeing at the moment is just like behind the scenes stuff. But I mean, you can see just how massive of a change that is. And whilst we can talk about that all day, I'm probably going to, like any good story, go with a flashback scene, Niall, and say, like, take us back to the start, mate. Take us back. What was life like for you before you began? What were you kind of struggling with in terms of like day to day? Like, what was life like?
It was kind of fucking a struggle every which way. I don't think I realised at the time how much of a struggle it was. Of course, I knew things. Obviously, confidence was very low. I'm constantly wearing baggier clothes, fixing myself relentlessly. That was obviously the biggest thing that was in my head. But when I'm at the point that I am now, I realised actually how low I was in all other aspects as well. Everything is just completely different. I don't know how I fit as much into a day now as I do compared to the way I used to feel, compared to the way I feel now. It's just it's mental. It's crazy. Like the whole outlook on life is different. Yeah, so it's been a great journey though. Like everyone keeps saying to me, "Oh, it takes such hard work to do what you've done." I'm kind of like, it didn't really. I didn't feel like it did because I enjoyed every minute of it. And you know, Kyle laid it out so easy for me that I didn't feel like the days that I felt, oh, I'm getting pissed off at this or whatever. I could just go and have a snack, or I could go and have a drink, and then not beat myself up about it the next day. And that made all the difference. Really did.
Yeah, I think not enough gets said about like when you actually enjoy the process. If you're doing something that you're enjoying doing, if you're doing something that you actually appreciate doing, then it's half the battle. You know, I think
Absolutely.
9 times out of 10, a lot of people that do tend to quote unquote fail are people that try to force themselves to do something that they're not actually enjoying, and they're really fucking, you know, hating getting out of bed in the morning to try and attempt. But no, fair play to you, mate. As I said at the start, you absolutely smashed the photo shoot, and uh, I mean, not just the physical changes as well, but the mental changes that you've had off the back of that, like being able to go and have a wee bit of a, you know, a snack and not feel bad or guilty of it, for it. Sorry. So yeah, fair play to you, mate. Well done.
Yeah. Cheers, man. The mental aspect is the whole thing. I was never one that really cared so much about how I looked, but the mental aspect has been just mental. I feel like I've never been stronger mentally than I am now. If you had told me 6 months, 8 months ago, I was going to be standing my top off in front of a camera, covered in fake tan after being waxed, I would have laughed in your face. I'm not a hope in hell. You wouldn't catch me dead doing it. So, like, the mental change is just, it's crazy.
There's a reason that the pictures and videos haven't been released yet because we're going to sell them on OnlyFans.
Yeah, I wouldn't be putting me house in that one.
There's a link in the bio and in the show notes on it.
Bio fans.
Bio fans.
I'm going to speak to the accountant today.
Gone OnlyFans.
Yeah, the postman delivers, bio fans. Do you know what? There is a lot to be said about just to kind of back up what both of you have said there, because I think so many people get in, like, the way that they try and get in shape, like, it's often to extremes. Like, it goes from one extreme to another, and it's like the doubt that comes in alongside it. So it's like, I think we've all probably tried to get in shape and we've been super restrictive, and like just even what you said there, Niall, about like the days where you're human beings, like you're going to crave like alcohol, you're going to crave snacks, you're going to crave the things that we're so used to having, and so many people remove all of that and don't know how to structure it. And then when it comes to when life happens, it's the Mike Tyson thing. Everybody has a plan till they get punched in the face, but when that happens, it's like, how do you maneuver alongside that? And I think once you start to slowly kind of understand the rules and understand that you can actually get away with a bit of that and still make progress, like, that makes it massive. It is the simple things, but I think considering all four of us now at this point have got in like really good shape, like I think like nobody, because I've got experience with all of you, like has massively struggled in doing that. Would that be fair? Does anybody struggled doing it?
No.
I wouldn't say there was struggles, but there was moments where it was like, "Fuck, this is a wee bit hard." But I think that was more so from a mental standpoint than anything else, and that was just because, you know, one little sweet treat maybe snuck into my mouth on accident, and then the floodgates fucking opened. But you know, had it not been for a clear structure and guidance from the master himself, Kyle Yoda, then yeah, I probably would have crumbled long before actually doing the photo shoot. Do you know what I mean? So having someone in your corner definitely helps as well. And I would probably ask Niall and Shannon the same question as well. Like, what's your thoughts on like having Kyle in your corner, just fucking getting you through those tougher times? Would you say that it definitely helps you get through
He's my
Right,
unpaid
yeah.
therapist.
it?
When I can't get Fidelma, Kyle's it.
Yeah, no,
So,
I'd
yeah.
agree 100%. Yeah, having Kyle there in the corner made all the difference. I genuinely don't know if I would have got to where I am now without Kyle in the corner, because there was no judgment. There was no end. It was just, it's grand. Walk it off, get back at it. Simple as that.
Yeah.
I don't feel I've done my job properly if you feel there was no judgment. I meant for you to feel judgment.
I was
Yeah,
going
there's
to
a
say,
slight bit of
what are
me.
you on about no judgment? Sometimes he just calls me a silly cunt, like, and I'm like, okay.
To be fair,
There's
Shannon,
only certain parts.
you only ever get called that when you are actually being that, and I think it's because you're in a position where you need that. Like, it's like we've tried a few other avenues, and then sometimes you need to go, right, this is, take the emotion out of it. Logically, you're just being an arsehole, sort yourself out. What was I going to say?
Silly goose, but cunt.
I don't want to get too distracted from like a side tangent as to like taking away from Niall's journey, because there is quite a wee bit we want to get through on this. But like, what was, you obviously touched on like where you were at the start, and obviously you've come a long way. But was there a point where like, what was the point where it kind of made you finally reach out? Was there a breaking point, or was it a specific moment, or what was the thought process behind that?
It was going on a long time, to be honest. I was diagnosed as a type 1 diabetic back 9 years ago, and it took me a long time to kind of come to acceptance of that. You're kind of feeling you were dealt the short end of the stick, for a long time. So I kind of got to acceptance with that, but in the process of that, then there was a lot of other things going on. And I just was really, really unhappy in life in general. There was actually about 4 years ago a suicide attempt, luckily a failed one, which kind of was in a way the best thing that happened to me, where it completely switched my mentality. And it kind of started rolling from that point. I got back playing a bit of football then. I started enjoying the football, started kind of doing things for myself. And it was only then when that's where I met Kyle, was at the football. And I was kind of thinking about it, and I won't I? But I just made the decision then, look, I'm sick of feeling like this, sick of kind of doubting in myself. Kyle seems to have a good head on his shoulders. I'll have a chat with him about it. And then it was kind of when Kyle kind of showed me what the process was, that's when I said, yeah, I think this is for me. This is going to be good for me. So that's when I kind of said, right, let's give it a go and see what happens.
Did you have any fears or doubts about the process? Like, even when Kyle showed you, was there any doubts in your mind that you might have not enjoyed it, or did you think that you maybe wouldn't have been able to stick to
it? I was drinking pretty heavily in around the time I signed up with Kyle. I was renovating my house. I was doing all the work pretty much myself on the house as well. So it was kind of just finding the time and getting away from the alcohol that was the big doubt. I had only signed up to the gym for the first time about 2 months previous to signing up as well. So there was a lot of doubts. There was a lot of doubts. But I had a chat with Kyle, we had a call, and I wanted to get my head straight first. So I asked Kyle, I said, look, give me a month till I really think about this, get myself in order. And if I'm going to commit, I'm going to commit. And I'm kind of stubborn in that way. When I do commit to something, I kind of freaking commit to it. So when he came back to me, we just said, yeah, go for it. So there's loads of that.
I didn't realise you were a stubborn person.
Did you not, Shannon?
No.
Glad that doesn't.
I didn't realise that in my life.
I'm glad that you backed up when you said about playing football, that I had a good head on my shoulders, because I don't think I inspired you through my footballing ability anyway. I don't think that was the sole reason that you got on board. But
well, it was more the fact that you kept showing up week after week, no matter how bad you were. I knew there was determination in you.
Yeah, there might have been a head on his shoulders, but it definitely wasn't a footballing head.
No,
no, definitely not.
There's a reason why he's called the refrigerator.
Yeah.
Oh, Shannon. Oh, there's a sacking going to happen on the podcast. I feel like I had a question to ask Niall, but it's completely gone in my head because now I'm thinking that's so true about the refrigerator.
I was going to get a beeper for Turner at one point.
It's came back to me. It was more just that reiteration. It's funny because I remember the call that I had with Niall, and I remember him being on the call. I remember him talking about what he wanted and where he was, and I'm like, I know that I can help him. But at the same time, I'm like, he needs to be ready for it as well. And it's funny when you said, like, give me a month, because there's so many people that I've spoke to that it's like, they say give me a month, and then a month turns into a year. Like, there's actually, I was going back through my messages, there's a girl yesterday, I'm like, she messaged me back in 2021, and then she's messaged me in 2022, and messaged me in 2024, and she's recently responded to another poll about still saying she's struggling, but every time I message her, she's just like, oh, I'm just not ready. I'm like, how many World Cups are we going to give this before you're ready? Like, there's a point where I'm like, it's never going to be the perfect time, but it's just a case where, like, you need to, in my opinion, you owe it to yourself to actually give it a go properly. And fair play to Niall, because men actually are really bad for reaching out and asking for help. And I think Niall's a great example of somebody who actually has. And partly the reason that he's sat here today is because I think that is such a great example of somebody who has taken action, and with a lot of shite going on in the background. Because to be fair, mate, you've touched on this yourself, you've had the house move, sick kids, family stress, you've had all that going on. What do you think helped you stay kind of consistent when things got a bit messy?
Definitely your guidance, like having you in the corner, you know, there's the determination, the stubbornness, and then, you know, when I speak to you about it, it just felt like, what are you stressing about? Just move on past it, get on with it. It's not the end of the world. You know, it's not a sprint, it's a marathon. You know, we don't need to do this in 3 months. We can take as long as we need to do to get there. You know, it's the lifestyle change rather than just getting in shape.
Yeah,
I think a lot of people try and, yeah, you mentioned 3 months there, and I think that's like a time frame that a lot of people seem to think that they can really kind of turn their life around. And whilst there is an argument to say that you can turn your life around in 3 months, you're trying to undo years and years and years of poor relationship with yourself, poor relationship with alcohol, poor relationship with food. That doesn't just happen overnight, but the progress that you can make in 3 months is substantial. But you need to be willing to put a wee bit more time and effort in. And the fact that you were able to understand and realise that I can take a wee bit longer probably helped you out massively as well. Do you know what I mean?
100%. I think I lost my first 12, maybe 13 kilos in that first 3 to 4 months. But I was killing myself. I was obsessed with it. And it was actually listening to this podcast that I was really starting to understand different bits of everything else, and saying, you know what, I don't need to be killing myself at this. Like, why aren't I enjoying this process more than what I had been? I was still enjoying it, but I was putting a lot of pressure on myself. So I took the foot off a wee bit. I had holidays coming up, like different things like that coming up. So I went and I enjoyed myself, and I just kept at it. Like, I never thought I'd be going on holidays and actually taking my runners with me and going for a run, looking for gyms and stuff. Not in a million years did I ever think that would happen. But I felt so much better for it.
Yeah, 100%.
I was quite jealous, mate, when you were sending me some of the videos when you were in Greece and that. And I was like, fucking this guy. Like, I'm like, I know I need to give you a bit. I know I need to give you a bit of advice because you're asking for it, but at the same time, it is paining me to see that where you're running right now when it's pissing down in Ireland.
Oh, I knew that, and that's why I kept sending
it. Question just on, obviously, you've listened to like most of the podcasts. Shannon decided to be Billy Big Balls and put in the chat a few weeks ago that she and Gary bring the banter. I'm not entirely sure if I've missed something completely, but I mean, are you getting that from what you're listening to, or is that?
Oh, 100%. There's no two ways about it.
Yeah,
you're just Kyle, a science guy.
Yeah, you're there for the facts and the facts only.
Man, that backfired big time in you, Kyle. Get it right fucking up you.
There's no way you expected me to say the truth on
that. Right. So I've sacked a staff member. I've got rid of a client on the same podcast. It's all happening. Disaster.
I am so fucking happy with that answer, Niall. Thank you.
The podcast
Right.
where it was just me and Gary. Banter. That was it. Facts.
I have to say,
Where were
when
they?
I
We don't really know.
when I first started listening to the podcast, I was enjoying them, and then I think it was the one with Fraser, was it? On it, and Kyle wasn't there, and I was saying, "Wow, that was the best podcast."
Right. I'll just mute myself and I'll let you guys take over then. See you later.
Oh, fucking excellent. Right. Back to the point. We can bash Kyle in a couple of minutes again after another wee question here. Niall, I want you to talk about some of the kind of breakthroughs that you had. What were, in your opinion, your biggest wins like along the way? Obviously, weight loss being one of them, running on holiday, but for you, what stands out the most personally?
Definitely the way I feel mentally. Mentally is just shocking. Cheese. I used to be so worried about, how other people see me, what other people thought. Now I genuinely couldn't care less. Yeah, I really couldn't. These photos going up online 6 months ago, 8 months ago, no, okay, don't put them up. Not a chance. Now I really couldn't care.
Mm-hmm.
That has definitely been the biggest part for me. But like being back running, something I thought I would never. I've never actually ran before. I played a bit of football and stuff like that, but going out running now, that's been a big win for me. That's something I'm immensely enjoying at the minute, strangely enough. Yeah, I'd say that's the two big ones for me at the minute, man. To be honest, is the running and the mental aspect of it.
Mm-hmm. So even with all the physical... Sorry, on you go, Kyle.
I was just saying I can confirm that he didn't run at football as well. Didn't happen.
Now he runs at the run club and he hosts it sometimes for us when we're both scallying off and doing things. Like, he's the head leader now.
It's another thing that's been such a big change. Like the run club has been fantastic. The whole family gets involved in it and love it every Sunday. And it's not only going what to be at on Sunday.
I'll give it a wee shout out just in case anybody's listening is local to Dundalk. So 10 o'clock on Sunday mornings at Custom Coffee, we go for 5k loop, 3k loop. You can walk, you can jog, you can run. There's dogs, there's babies, there's Shannon does
Kids.
Shannon brings her balls, protein balls that is, and then there's other stuff involved, but yeah, get yourself coming along. It's free.
2 hours of crack.
Mm-hmm.
If you are interested, you can meet us there, but there's also an Instagram group as well, so you can just message Shannon or I and we can add you to that and you can come along as you please, but it is free of charge, so it'd be good to see you there.
Good. We plug for the Run Club. I love it. Did you say Instagram group there?
Yeah, we have a private group chat.
On Instagram?
Yeah.
Is that a thing?
Yeah.
I'll tell you what, Gary. I'll tell you
You
what's
can put polls in it and everything. It's cool.
Oh.
Do you know, Shannon sometimes I feel lives in 2008 because she has birthday invites to things on Facebook, and I'm like, didn't know these things still existed. I was speaking to
I found that very strange.
Want to justify this. My daddy asked me to make the Facebook invites because he wanted to keep tabs on the numbers, glasses we sold. Like, if it was me, it would just be, I'd send you the invitation personally, but my daddy wanted the wee Facebook group, so back down, Watson. Don't be coming at Martin like that.
Can I dive in here? I'll actually be honest. Facebook invites are how I remember I've got shit happening.
Gary, I actually, before we get super sidetracked, Kyle gave me absolute guff during the week because I still physically top up my phone because I don't have bill pays or anything like that. And he was just like, I know you live like a teenager in your mind. He was like, but that is the next level of it. And I was like, I know plenty of people that do this, sir.
Yeah.
I genuinely didn't think you could do that anymore.
I can't back you up on that one, Shannon. That is fucked.
Like, I do through the app. I don't actually have to go into a shop.
Shannon, do you know what the issue was? Is when I messaged you and you were like, oh, I couldn't get messages because I had no credit left. I'm like, wow, you're setting up Facebook.
I was out and about, like, I couldn't understand why I wasn't getting messages.
I need to be very careful. This could turn into a character assassination of Shannon, but The fact that you're topping up your phone, that you're creating Facebook groups, like there's a lot happening there, and that's me just touching on the surface level of stuff that I'm keen to talk about right now.
Oh, that's so funny.
We work through it in therapy every Tuesday, don't worry.
Doesn't seem like you're getting very fucking far if you're still on your phone for credit.
There's a lot of childhood trauma to break, all right? Breaking the cycle one step at a time, but I will never be on a bill pay. I will tell you that now.
Just, by the way, Gaff, 20 quid a month, about fucking 50 gig. Easy.
What the fuck?
Have you got Gaff? You know got Gaff?
No.
Is that a UK thing?
Yeah, it must be.
Well, ignore that.
If you're UK
used to be
listening, Gaff, good plug, Gary.
Gaff is fucking fantastic. I swear by Gaff, and you can use it all over Europe. There you go. Just quickly before we move on as well, Kyle, do you remember back in the day, you used to get those SIM cards that if you spent like a £5 a week, you would get unlimited texts at the weekend?
Yeah.
Oh man, I lived for those unlimited texts at the weekend. I'd have the £5 spent by Tuesday, and I wouldn't be able to text again until fucking Saturday. And then you would be going nuts for the text on Saturday. Brilliant. Anyway, sorry, apologies. Back to the point.
It done me no favours with a couple of drinks and me having unlimited texting my ex.
No, absolutely not. Oh, I know, absolutely not. Right, moving on for the fucking phone chat. You spoke obviously about, I was going to say, you, even with all the physical changes that you've made, you're obviously in absolutely incredible shape. It's crazy how your biggest shift has been the mindset as well, and I think that's what makes the biggest, for me personally, that's what makes the biggest difference long term. Do you know what I mean? Because you can diet for 12 weeks and you can get in incredible shape, but if your mind's not in it, and if you don't have that mindset shift and you don't allow your mindset to shift, then it's going to be very, very hard to sustain it. Do you feel like you are in you're obviously in a much better place, but do you feel like you're in a place now where you can sustain your progress and completely change how you now live your life going forward?
100%. 100%. I still don't think I have enough knowledge behind me to fully sustain it myself. So, I'm definitely going to rely on Kyle for that. But even this week, it's meant to be a week off. Kyle's kind of said, just, don't go fucking nuts on it, but, do what you want to do. I still found myself, had my Chinese Sunday after the shoot. Couldn't wait to get back to the gym Monday. Get back, still on my chicken and fucking mince. Yeah, it's just the normal now, and I enjoy it. It works. I couldn't see myself living any other way. Of course, I will be a wee bit looser at times. Come the weekend, stuff like that. But I know now what I'm eating compared to what I was eating. Like, it's mad. Like, I'm eating 4 meals a day. I'm having 2 dinners. As in before, I was eating 2 meals a day. I'm putting on a shitload of weight. It's mad when you kind of understand what you're doing.
Have you felt restricted at any point?
Not in a bad way. Not in a bad way. Like, my eating habits beforehand and drinking habits beforehand were just so loose. I'd stop in the shop whenever I wanted to, or on a random Tuesday night, I might say, fuck it, I'm going to pull out the bottle of whiskey or a few cans, whatever it may be. Them restrictions, yeah, because I know the harm that's going to do me. But there's nothing I've cut out completely. It's not that I've restricted anything. I'm still having pretty much everything I was having before. I'm just not doing it as wildly as I was then.
So would you say you've got more structure than restriction now?
100%. Yeah, that's probably the best way of putting it. Not having structure in my training and calories there for the last couple of days that just freaked me out. But I was never one for structure.
How many kids do you have now?
I have 3 kids.
3. How do you structure? Are they younger?
15, 3, and 5.
So you've got a couple of kind of toddlers.
Yeah.
Would you say that your structure has to be fairly loose to fit around the kids' lives and stuff as well? But yeah,
100%. Like my 5-year-old, he's autistic, so kind of structure and routine comes along with him as well. So I just kind of found what works for me around everybody else. It's like I get up in the morning, have 6 o'clock my breakfast. I'm in the gym for 8:30. I'm home then. I won't eat till about 12 o'clock. Kids are at school. I get all my stuff done during the day. So I still work it around everybody else's day. Of course, weekends are kind of hit and miss, but I try and keep everything roughly in around the same time. And it's not actually that hard when you kind of break it down. You just get used to it. It's right. I have my dinner at 2:30. I'm going to have my dinner at 2:30. You know, between 2 and 3 o'clock. But yeah, the kids have. Sorry, go ahead.
No, I was just going to say, how was it at first? Was it difficult to find a structure that actually worked for everybody? Was a wee bit kind of trial and error to see what worked best?
It was, because obviously, you know, my wife works full time as well. So normally it was a case one of us would just do the cooking. That'd be fine. But then it was a case, right, well, I'm not going to be eating what you're eating. So we're both going to have to cook, or it's going to take twice the time for one of us to cook, or what it may be. But my wife's been excellent. Like, you know, what she does with the kids and the support she's given me along the way has been massive. Like I got so selfish in the way I dealt with things, and she just picked up the slack, you know, with the kids and stuff. So that's been a massive help to get me to where I am.
Shout out Eleanor.
Shout out. She doesn't get many of them.
I got.
Turning this into a radio station, doing some shout outs. We might start doing some paid shout outs.
I was just going to say, we're going to need to get some sponsored ads in between the podcasts there.
Shannon, I feel that your head's getting slowly further and further.
Yeah. It definitely is, isn't it?
Yeah, no, it's just we could only see your forehead. Well, to the point where we're missing half your head. Yeah, no, Gary's doing there. That's what your head
is. Gary's away now, do we?
It's like,
I haven't moved.
It's like that trick that your old uncle tried, where he was like trying to climb down stairs behind the sofa. Shout out old Uncle Ronnie.
Old Uncle Ronnie.
Yes, mate. So, in terms of like just to recap on that, like obviously there has to be an element of sacrifice, which we've seen, and with that, like there's a cost to everything. It sounds more like it would be fair to say that you've been doing things not restrictively, but there's been parameters on the things that you'd done before, so that again you were kind of had a little bit more guidelines within that, and you've not really had to give up anything that you've enjoyed in the past, but it's just more so that you've seen like the kind of results based on the fact that like when you have parameters on that, you can kind of see what that actually looks like and how that fits into your life. Would that kind of be fair to say? Yeah.
100%. Like just one example of that is the social outings. Before this, there's no way I'd rather avoid a party than go and have a couple of non-alcohols, or stay on the fizzy drinks or whatever it may be. And there was plenty of times that I spoke to you, Kyle, and said, "Oh, if this coming up, is it right? Do what you need to do during the week and go and enjoy a few pints. Or if you're not gonna," and I got to the point where I didn't even want to do that. So like I was able to go to these social events and have a couple of 0-0s and just work that in that way. And I enjoyed each party just as much as I would have before I started all this. Probably more, because I didn't have the hassle of hangovers and stuff like that as well. Yeah, absolutely.
It's funny you said that. I think sometimes like we do things so out of routine rather than things that we actually enjoy. Like I know I certainly have got to a point, whether it be food, alcohol, or whatever it is, that I'm like, I'm just doing this out of sheer habit. Like I'm just so used to on a Friday or Saturday just grabbing like a 6-pack of cans and sitting down. I'm like, I'm not even enjoying your 4th cans, and you're like, I'm not even clocked on that I'm enjoying this. And I'm like, I'm reaching for the next one, trying to chase the buzz that I didn't get from the first 4. And I'm like, at what point does that end? And then like, I think when you can set up a structure from your week and you look at it and go, right, cool, this is what I'm aiming towards and this is what moves me forward, you can actually get more enjoyment out of it, because you're like, you know what, I've put those cans in, like what mine's was cans or pizza or a burger or whatever it could be. I'm like, but you've factored that in, and you're like, you know what, on a Saturday, I've got 1,000 calories there that I can have a few drinks and a pizza with. And you know what, you're like, I enjoy it more, and you're less tempted to go, do you know what, I was quite guilty after a few cans, going, "Oh, do you know what? I'll open up the whiskey and I'll have one of them." And like, sure, you're paying house measures. The next day, you're waking up and you're like, "Oh fuck, I'm feeling rotten. I didn't even enjoy any of that." But I think like actually getting enjoyment back in your kind of social occasions and your then kind of being brutal about what you actually is it habit or is it routine or is it enjoyment, and once you're a bit more cutthroat with that, you actually start to, in my opinion, enjoy a lot more through your week as well.
100%. We were getting takeaways that regular. I don't even think I was tasting them anymore. There was no enjoyment out of them. There were just more food. That Chinese I got Sunday, I just couldn't stop myself. It was fucking amazing. It was the best thing I've ever had.
The order. It looked incredible.
Yeah, it was. It was a dry salt and pepper chili chicken, some fried rice, some chips, some curry sauce. At the start, I even had crispy chili duck wraps. They were epic as well. Yeah, love it.
I'm not going to lie, it's lunchtime recording this at the moment, and it's before lunchtime, and I didn't have a craving for a Chinese until about 30 seconds ago. Now I'm like, that sounds alright.
That was class. It was amazing.
You made a good point there, Niall. Shout out Woks. You made a very good point there, Niall, that you were getting takeaways that regularly that you don't even think you were tasting them. It was just a normal thing. No. Mate, yeah. It's funny you said that because I was doing a wee bit of kind of reading into this, and I don't know, I've not really seen the research on it, but apparently because of the amount of kind of additives like MSG and stuff that's in the likes of Chinese and stuff, you do end up getting used to that, and it takes away from the actual taste, and it's the kind of the MSG that you're kind of chasing, if that makes sense. When you kind of cut out the majority of those takeaways and you started eating kind of more whole foods, did you notice a difference in how the whole foods tasted as well?
Oh yeah, 100%, 100%.
It's so bizarre, eh?
It's mad. Yeah, like everyone's looking, is that dinner not very bland? I'm saying, no, it's lovely. It's absolutely lovely. Yeah, I'm loving me plain broccoli, spuds, veg, whatever it may be on the plate, like loving it.
The amount of people that say to me, how can you eat chicken and rice and whatever every single day? And I'm like, because it's fucking delicious. Like, couple of different spices, different sauces.
Say a bit of seasoning and you're fucking G.
Yeah, of course, but people that are so wired to have McDonald's, takeaways, Greg's, it's just something that's very highly palatable, quick, easy. Sometimes sometimes you're clutching at straws, calling it food. They look at, a plate of our food and think that's fucking boring. Like I couldn't eat that. But when you start to wean yourself off of eating all these highly ultra processed fast foods, you start to really appreciate quote unquote normal foods as such.
Absolutely.
I used to hate vegetables growing up. I used to hate vegetables. See now they're fucking amazing, and that's because I don't eat as many takeaways or as much shite food as what I used to do. You know what I mean?
Yeah. There's no way I could eat the vegetables I'm eating at the minute if I was still having regular takeaways. I know that for a fact.
Yeah. I tell you, I think we are that far gone in terms of like what is deemed like acceptable with food right now. That it's like was clean foods, like the foods that most of us have been eating for thousands of years that have guaranteed us survival. They're all looked at as restrictive, and it's like it baffles me, as you said, when people are like, how do I make that more interest or how do whatever? But I'm like, you've went from fucking 10 years of just eating McDonald's and takeaways every night. Nothing's going to taste like if you want a kebab tray, like there's nothing that's going to taste like a kebab tray. You can't replicate that through lunch. But at the same time, it's more about how you feel and how you look and ultimately actually enjoying that kebab tray again. Like, I'm not infallible to this because I think sometimes when people listen to this, they're like, oh, you guys are all fitness people and you don't do like any of this yourself. Jen and I put it up on my Instagram story on Saturday. We had a week last week where I think I was averaging about like 4,000 steps a day. I was just that slammed to work. Jen's dad's currently dying. There's a few things going on that's just taking up a lot of stress. But with that, like there's not been a lot of time for food prep. We've not been to the shops. Like it literally has been Jen coming back from her dad's house with a takeaway sometimes. I'm like, I've probably had more takeaways in the last week than I've had in the last couple of months. And at the back end of that, I'm like, I feel fucking miserable. Like as much as it it actually quenched the taste at the time. It was effective. I'm like, we got to last night was another day of it, like, and we got home really late last night, and I'm like, there's nothing in the house. We've had nothing to whatever. She's like, do you want to just stop and get a Geno's? And I was like, no, I'm not stopping getting a Geno's. I'm like, I need to. I was like, get something. And I was like, I had a proper poverty. I think I had 2 eggs left and a bit of bread, man. I had a pure World War II diet, man. It was like, but do you know what? I actually see the way I feel this week compared to last week. I'm like, I feel so much better just from not scooping tons of takeaways into me. It's not to say that you can't have it on occasion, but I think it's just the way you feel is massively important to the way that you turn up on things. And like, clean whole sauces for the win, 20%. You can still have party time foods, but it's just about managing them.
I 100%, yeah, 100%. I found it throughout the kind of process. Well, the times I was feeling best was when there was no takeaways being had within a couple of days. And I could see that clearly in myself.
Yeah.
Plus, you'll enjoy them more when you don't have them as regular.
Shannon, you look like you're mid-sneeze there, didn't you?
I was mid-sneeze, yeah, and I'm just holding back. I don't know when in case it comes.
Let it all out.
That weird flu, I think, from everyone at this point, and I'm like, fuck off. Like, I'm going to London this weekend. You cannot give me the flu.
You're gonna get the flu.
Yeah, I'm gonna get it. Yeah.
Just speaking of the flu, I'm going to take us on a very quick and side tangent. I was listening to a podcast back from the COVID days, and they were talking about when football first got shut down, you had people's viewpoints on it and stuff like that, and we're talking about the fears and how it was going to rip through us and the virus and like taking so many people out and all that. And I'm like, well, what a bunch of nonsense that was. But anyway, before we get taken down and bringing up bad memories, I'm going to move on. So now, for someone who was where you were at the start, so you're struggling with low energy, you're struggling with your health, possibly kind of doubting yourself, like, what advice would you give them?
Stop kind of thinking about it. You need to make the changes. Like, I think it was in the 3 years previous to this point, I had been diagnosed with a hernia, sleep apnea, and then there was the diabetes. There was something else as well. And I was going to say, Jesus Christ. Well, but the old me would have just kept kicking that on down the road. Best decision I ever made was just reaching out to you, Kyle, having that conversation and just going and do it. It has massively changed my life.
Awesome. What's next for Niall?
Well, whatever you tell me, I suppose. I hear there's talk of something happening in June next year. That could be interesting.
Come on, yes. Yeah, Spartan. We're going to make it happen. Spartan Biofitness weekend.
Yeah.
Gary.
Be up for that.
I'm going to break your heart because there's been multiple events like this that we've been like, we're definitely going to do this. It hasn't happened yet. We were going to Texas at one point.
This is going to be the first. This is going to be the first.
Right.
And do you know what? See if it's just me and Niall. You can all go fuck yourself. I'm delighted with it.
Shannon.
Absolutely.
Shannon, I think your way of looking at things there is flawed, and I'm going to be honest with it. I think if we look at the events and the successful events we've had, we got, I think it was 16 people doing hell and back, which was...
Worst mistake of my life. I'm throwing it out that was horrendous.
Regardless, it was done. We managed to get, I think it was 11 people running a marathon. Like, we managed to... There's quite a few things that we've done. Now, granted...
We did laser tag. That was fun.
I don't think that's... I'm talking about achievements. Like,
my achievement of shooting you multiple times.
How many of us was up at the autism run too?
Yeah, you did do the autism run.
Yeah, 100%. There was, I think, at least 10 of us, more than that, up at the autism thing, and that was on the weekend in the middle of summer that Oasis was at, and everybody's away doing things in the height of people's holidays. So I think when it comes to doing things, we have the only things that we haven't done that we set out to achieve is, I think at one point we're talking about going from Ireland to the Scottish Highlands, but then realised that the price point to get there was costing people like $2,000 a piece, and I'm not funding people $2,000 a piece to go and walk the Highlands. So I think if we're talking about doing a Spartan, it would be a lot easier to organise than getting people from a travel perspective going to the Highlands. So I'm not saying, Shannon, you're wrong, but you're certainly not right.
Rain on my parade. I just wanted to be funny because I bring the banter on like you.
Well, Kyle was just bringing the facts there as well. So Kyle was
science guy comes back.
Yeah, hold on, I get my papers out.
So yes, Team Biofitness Spartan, we're making it happen June the 7th, I believe it is, which is a Sunday, so that gives us a Saturday to enjoy some of the Highlands if we can make it.
Can you explain to anybody who's listening what a Spartan is?
Spartan is a warrior that used to fight. No, I'm joking. A Spartan race. A Spartan race.
I thought you were going to give us this like big intro to it. I was like, oh, strap in. Let's find out what this is about.
If this is Gary and Shannon's version of bringing the banter, then I'm done.
A Spartan race is basically Tough Mudder on fucking steroids. If you've ever done any sort of obstacle assault race like Tough Mudder, or I can't even remember the names of some of the other ones out there. But yeah, think of that, but on a bigger scale. Having said that, though, there is different race lengths. So I believe the sprint is 5K, the super is 10K, and then you've got the Spartan Beast, which is the one that I'm getting everybody to sign up to. It's essentially a half marathon with at least 30 obstacles. Typically done on some sort of like ski resort or mountain resort. When I done it in Edinburgh, it was on the Pentland Hills, so it was very uppy downy. When I done it in Canada, it was on a ski resort, so we were basically on our hands and knees climbing up a fucking ski slope. If you fail an obstacle, there is a forfeit. You either have to do 30 chest to floor burpees before they let you move on, or you have to do a little kind of a little loop of like a little track that they've got set out to the side where you just have to kind of run around it before you can go to move on. So it's made, I believe the guy's name that created it's Joe DeSena. I could be wrong on that, but he basically made it with the intention of not wanting you to finish. So that says, so think of, what was it, Hellenbach he's done, Shannon?
Yeah.
Steroids.
Yeah. If that was bad, then you get fucking no chance for Spartan.
Yeah, no, you're not selling it to me because Hellenbach felt like the longest 5 fucking hours of my life. It was never ending.
Let's also.
What was Hellenbach?
Well, Shannon didn't have a vape for 5 hours, so that's why it felt like Hellenbach.
What was the length, the course length?
12 kilometres.
Yeah, Spartan's a wee bit longer than that. You've got an extra 9.
But it was really heavy rain the week leading up to it. So it was like on the Sugarloaf Mountains in Wicklow. And you're meant to be able to run this, but because of how heavy the rain was, it became all like slush. There was no physical way you could run it. So it just was like dragging yourself through this mud. Felt like 6 hours. Couldn't jump over half the obstacles because I'm short. Me and Chris were just left trying to get over some of them. We were like, help us, please. We're tiny humans here.
It was so funny watching Chris do it because Chris is about the size of a hobbit, and then with the mud in the hills, I was like singing the Lord of the Rings tune to myself as I was watching him.
Like, I mean, it was coming up to your knees, like the mud at one point. It was horrendous. And then the group showers afterwards gave me the fear of God. I was like, I've never wanted to experience this ever again.
Nah, you'll have a great time at Spartan.
I might postpone the surgery whenever I get it to that point.
It's going to be it's going to be good. It is fun, and you also get a beer at the finish line, so that might get you through it.
You get a beer?
I got a protein bar.
You get a beer at the finish line, and then I'm assuming there will be multiple beers afterwards, which will get you through it as well. So that is good fun. Niall, that's the next big goal, mate.
That sounds good to me. Yeah. I think I might just try and do a normal half marathon first, though.
Aye, 100%, rather than on a fucking ski resort.
Yeah, might be a better idea.
So the next goal will be Dundalk's half marathon for Niall to build himself up for this.
Yeah, Kyle set me out a few goals there for the next wee while, so I'm going to focus on them to begin with and see what happens.
Do you know, just on half marathons, last week tangent, my pet peeve about half marathons, particularly like the Dundalk half marathon, is that see half marathons that do the same loop twice, like that really gets to me. Like there's nothing
Yeah.
worse. Yeah, nah, not for them.
Luckily, my route on Sunday doesn't take that.
I'd much prefer just to always feel like you're going somewhere, because I think if you do the same loop twice, the time you get round it the first time, you're like, oh fuck, I need to do that entire thing again, and that's
Again.
rancid. Yeah, no.
Yeah, I know a couple of boys that done a nighttime Edinburgh marathon, and it was like a 5K loop, and they just kept doing it until they hit 42K or whatever it is. Yeah, it's
I
pretty
might
nasty.
push the second 5. No, I'll be done after that.
Yeah,
No.
fuck that.
No, there was a guy during lockdown who ran a marathon round his garden. Like he literally was just running circles round his garden, and his garden wasn't even that big. And I'm going, that's how mental lockdown put people. This guy was just running circles around his garden for 5 hours.
Yeah. I do 2 laps around a 400-meter track and I'm fucking bored.
Yeah.
Genuinely.
Run as far as you can, so you have to run back.
Yeah.
Do you know what? I've considered running. Every time I consider running on the treadmill, I put on the wee thing that you see yourself going round the track, and I'm like, I'll go right. I'll get 2 or 3 times round the track. See, when I'm like once round the track, I'm like, well, this is shite. Like, I'm not going to be doing this any longer.
I know. But right, what's next? What we're talking about next?
I think we're done, unless there's anything else that you've got questions about, or go on, Shannon. You've got your hands up. I don't know if that's just celebrating
Harry,
questions.
Joe Wicks, how are we feeling?
Oh, fuck. I was kind of holding off with this one to maybe talk about next week, but what a fucking absolute cock end. Oh, have you seen it, Kyle?
No, I've not seen it.
He's come out with his own protein bar, right? It's called Killer Bar, Killer Bar or Killer Protein Bar, whatever it is. But his tactics to promote it are telling you that it's full of carcinogens, it's full of very harmful ingredients, and that you've not to eat it.
It could
And
give
he
you
says,
cancer,
yes,
diarrhea,
yep,
and something
yep.
else.
And but it also has like 27 helpful vitamins and stuff in it. And the reason that he's done this is to show to the government or the World Health Organization, whoever it is, how easy it is for other companies to sell shite products, essentially. So he's now scaremongering from carb killer, old like the grenade bars that they used to make. And he's now fearmongering around that. So he's selling a product for like £3 for a bar, but telling people not to eat it. They have to buy it and talk about it, but they've not to eat it. The guy is fucked in the head. He's fucked in the head, man. And this is him that fucking relapsed on a packet of Jaffa cakes. This is him. This is him that fruit gives him fear because it's got fucking sugar in it. The guy is an absolute fucking loonball. Like, he's lost his mind.
But he's not doing it for money. He's doing it for health benefits for the world.
Oh, of course, which is why you have to buy his protein bar but not fucking eat it.
Frame it.
Kyle, you're trying to unpack this, aren't you?
I'm just trying not to turn this into an hour and a half rant. What a guy, Joe Wicks, some boy. Always been a big fan. Realistically, I think his things should have died after Leaning 15, which was a good idea. But after that, I think it's just someone like, you know, the Cheeky Girls. You've never heard any of their songs after they sang the Cheeky song. I'm like, yeah, go out on a high. Don't live long enough to see yourself become the villain. Like, Joe Wicks is. Yeah, there's nothing within that. I think he's so out of touch with what people actually eat. Like, a protein bar isn't the issue. Like we've just talked about, like most of the people that we speak to are eating several takeaways a week and like consuming copious amounts of alcohol and snorting things up their nose that they shouldn't be having. I don't think whatever in a protein bar is the issue. So. Yeah, I don't know, but at the same time, he's got a platform. He's speaking. It's annoying, but like, fuck him.
Aye, it was on the fucking Channel 4 News or Channel 3 News or one of those sit-down talk show things talking about it. But if you want a good breakdown of what you said, watch James Smith's video. It's about a
Yes.
14-15 minute video, and he breaks it down incredibly well, whilst also tearing Joe Wicks a new arsehole.
Not gonna
Again.
lie, not gonna lie though. I think James Smith's become a bit of a sellout as well, and he's not in my top. Yeah, not my. Yeah, not my.
No, I agree. I agree with that, but that doesn't mean to say that I don't agree with what you said about Joe Wicks.
No, agreed. I'm here for that. But yeah, at 15.
Here, and all that jazz.
Shannon,
Right.
Where can they find me?
No, wait, hold on a minute. Let's fucking thank Niall for coming on the podcast.
Yeah,
because-
look at you just kicking them off like that.
Yeah.
Whoa! Wow!
Niall,
Wow.
would you like to be a regular host on the BioFit with us podcast? We can sack someone since I'm getting the sack. Let's
Shannon.
just sack not Kyle.
Shannon, few things, right? If Niall was a host on the BioFitness podcast, would lose about 50% of our listeners. So we can't do that because he is 50% of the listeners.
Doesn't mean he can't listen to himself weekly.
Definitely not going to listen to myself, that's for sure.
To give if I'm presenting facts here, Shannon, the plan was to say where we can find you. I was going to thank Niall, and then I was going to thank Dave and Toby for the music, and then it was going to be the outro because that was the system. But thank you for interrupting me. Doesn't matter.
It was Gary, actually. Gary interrupted you. Apology accepted.
Well, I just wanted to speak to Niall myself before Kyle fucking Mr. Regimental here putting an end to the show. Thank you, Niall, very much for coming on, mate.
No,
I really
thanks a million for
appreciate
having
you taking the time out, man. Thank you for sharing your story, your experience, and I'm sure a lot of people listening they will take a lot of inspiration from what you've done and completely, turned your life around. So yeah, appreciate it, mate.
Yes.
Thanks a million for having me. Yeah.
Yes. Cheers for coming.
Pleasure.
Let's let everybody know where they can find you.
Okay, I don't even know what it is. I think it's just at Niall Kinney.
Yeah. So
there's not a whole pile on there.
I'll fucking link it in the show notes if you're happy enough for me to do so, mate.
Yeah,
It'll be Niall Kinney at BioFitness soon.
Oh.
Yeah, simply because the place they can find you to is going to be at the job centre on Monday morning.
Right, so before you end up in the job centre, Shannon, where can everybody find you until that
Shan _ BioFitness. Kyle, where can they find you?
Sorry, we haven't thanked Dave and Toby yet. How rude of you guys. Thanks, Dave and Toby, for the...
That happens at the end, and then I say bye.
Oh, you're just been regimented. You can find me at Kyle _ BioFitness. Gary, any other shout outs, thank yous, or anything you want to do before I ask where they find you?
Not just to Dave and Toby. Thanks, Dave and Toby, for the music. At Gary _ BioFitness. And yes, thank you all for listening as always. See you all in the next one.
Bye.